as the Championship Player of the Year. Matt Thomason is our referee tonight, and as ever here on Premier Sports, if we have to, then we will be going to Ian Smith, the video referee, and we'll be hearing from him. Oh, here comes a start, and what a start! In fact, well, I was going to say, Halifax looks as though they thought they put it straight on the full, but it's not. It's gone with a bounce.
No.
What a start.
Great kick-off, Dave. Skidded, slip over, ball back for Halifax, just what they would have wanted.
So straight away, they're under pressure. There's the kick. Look at that, absolutely pin perfect. I think there was a little bit of a slip. Was it Brambani who might have slipped in there?
Yes, it was, you're right.
But here, Halifax with that first possession. Ben Davies driving it in. They thought they were going to be defending for this opening set of 6. Instead, they're applying a lot of pressure. Here's Tony Tonks to take it forward. Ashall is the man at dummy half. Little step by Scott Morrell. So important he is, of course, to Halifax. Had his injury problems with a finger injury this year, but my word, he's made an impression when he has played, which is the majority of games. 4 tackles gone, 2 to go, so this opening set sees Halifax with a fantastic position. Ashall from dummy half again. Here it comes now as they try to move it to this right-hand side. Fieldhouse is in the line. Sheffield defending well and having to.
I'll tell you what we've got here, Dave, first and foremost. 2 great defensive teams at this way. And so both teams will try and establish their running game first. They know they're going to have difficulty breaking the line with pass plays, so you've got to fatigue the opposition, get your hands on the ball, call the referees, call them, stop that aggression for a penalty, which is a great relieving call for Sheffield.
And Brambani with a kick will find touch just beyond the halfway line, so... Well, what a start we've had, Dave Woods.
Oh, it's been tremendous. And look, I thought last game when they met each other, I thought Halifax's defensive efforts were outstanding, and that's what won the game for them. And very, very tight in the first half, but a great defensive set from Sheffield early on there to keep them out after that mistake from the kickoff. So a good start from them.
Here's Eddie Batty, who's on the second tackle, taking it to within about 30 metres of that Halifax line. Henderson is the man at dummy half again. It's Mitch Stringer. So impressive this year. The 30-year-old Barnsley-born prop forward. Here's Walker now, Patch Walker looking to that left, and Michael Knowles. It's a forward pass.
So a couple of excitement calls there. Michael Knowles jumping the line just in front of Patch Walker. Here we see the ball clearly in front there, and at the other end of the field, Halifax jumping the gun on a defensive set. So both teams keen, both teams nervous.
Adrenaline.
I think they call it that, yeah.
Heads in, stay, out.
Halifax looking to complete this set safely from deep inside their own half. Ashall, the man up at dummy half again. So many cameos on there tonight, isn't there? So many players who this season past have caught our eye in very positive manners, who will be the star tonight. It all started here, I was reminded a little earlier today, on the 31st of January this year. The first game of this championship season was here between these two. There was a potential 40-20, and Quentin Lulatagagai fails to deal with it. So he has conceded head and feet to Halifax here.
Great dart. Game changer sometimes, those players. He's tried his hardest in Morrell. Low trajectory, gets it inside the 20, tries his best, and the ball's out there, and good call from the toucher, but it was close, wasn't it?
Very, very close.
Well, I think it was just 1 foot, wasn't it? When he jumped back in, that would have been okay. I think he had a foot out.
No, because he started from the outside the line, because he jumped back in, it wouldn't have mattered anyway.
And he's landed on the line,
Yeah, but he had to start from in the field of play.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So, for many reasons, Halifax have got the head and feet here, and back where they were on their first set. A chance to apply some real pressure. Here's Ashall looking to drive them forward again here. As Davis is in underneath them all as he gets up and plays it eventually, and Ashall spun to this left-hand side. Morrell helping it off again. Just coming on the angles here, but Sheffield's defence holding out for the moment. Ashall again, offers it to a couple. Then the large frame of Tonks does well with the offload as well. Spinning it towards the middle for behind Adamson. It's collected by Hanforth, whose kick is not a bad one here, and forces Sheffield in the shape of Scott Turner to concede another dropout.
Well, a smart kick first and foremost from Hanford. Good chase. Turner no options. He didn't know what was breathing down his neck, and it was obviously Wayne Retty was making enough noise for him to make the play.
Interesting to hear from Carl Harrison before the game saying about this week has been fairly light in training, but last week it was as if it was a pre-season. He really flogged his players last week.
Yeah, I have no problems with that. I think you got to remind them of what the game's about, and if you've got a 2-week period, your bodies are quite a durable thing, and whilst you've got to be smart, you've also got to that's what the game's about, you see, and unless you remind the players of that, that's the kind of brutality Carl's talking about.
Tonks put down. Ashall moves it to that left-hand side. Little step out there by Tyra. Look at this. There we go. There we go. Eventually Tonks put down, but made sure the other man was down first. Oh, it's a really good physical effort here that has put Sheffield on the back foot again now. Handforth looking towards Manning. Sheffield numbering up on the outside to make sure there's no room for encouragement, and Halifax have lost it. Well, Manning rather giving himself away there, punching the ground in frustration, and it will be head and feet for Sheffield.
Yeah, he's disappointed with himself here. Manning drops the ball cold. The ball's in his hand and just drops it on the way up, and he'll be disappointed with that. But if you're going to make your errors, make them in this part of the field. It's less stressful than when you do it at your own end.
Menziera, the man of the moment this season in terms of try scoring, 45 tries this season. Another hat-trick last weekend.
Was the playoff game earlier in where I wasn't here? That was a 0-0 at half-time, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Wow. We're going to see something similar here, I think. This is great.
It was a wet night, though, that night, wasn't it, Dave?
Yeah, it certainly was, and I'll tell you what, Paul Hanford did an excellent job on Menzieri. Every time he looked like getting the ball, Hanford was up in his face real quick, and Menzie couldn't come into the game.
Henderson out from dummy half is looking to get them going down that right channel. Time flying early on, 6.5 minutes already played here. Here's Batty. Eddie Batty. Safely held on to. That line is 10 metres from halfway. Kick from Brambani. He's fairly well weighted, so Retty have a bit of a job to do here. The chase is decent.
Well, for Halifax to take advantage of Sheffield's stress, if that's the right word, the amount of games they've played 4 days ago, they've had a lot more. They've got to look after the ball. They've got to make Sheffield do a lot of the work. They're great defensive team, Sheffield, and it might be the last 5 minutes of a half or the last 10 minutes of the game where Halifax get advantage of that you know, the lack of rest of Sheffield.
This is a slow play. The ball, Batty doing well to make sure it was kept that way. Heaton to his feet will play. Ashall left again. Well, that's the 5th tackle, so they're on the halfway line. No doubt we'll be looking for a kick here to get it downfield in the best possible placement betwixt and between the fullback and the winger. Just a really good kick, because Turner has to pick up in the in-goal area. Couldn't risk that rolling further because the chasers were after him. And Sheffield again forced to do hard work as a result of that. Yeah, January 31st when these two met. Remember that night? It was a bit cold that night, wasn't it?
It was a bit King Billy, for sure.
Ooh, there's a forced pass from Quentin Tagakai, which just sprung away from Tolapapa. It's the advantage play here, but nothing coming of that free play, so head and feed back at the scrum in Halifax's favour.
Well, it's been all Halifax, hasn't it? And it's I think it's important that they've got to keep the blowtorch on Sheffield to get the best advantage of this.
Yeah, they certainly do. All the hard work that they've done defensively, that was a great kick. Very, very good chase. They need to come up with something when they get down there, and that was the problem in that game a couple of weeks ago. They weren't doing that, but in the end they got the result. But they need to take advantage of these errors in this area of the field.
Here's Heaton, the right centre. Ashall waiting patiently, eventually gets it and plays it on, and driven forward by Manning, who's what, about 10 metres away, right on the edge of the penalty area, the football penalty area. Morel throwing it left, and here comes Deforti. Sheffield holding on at the moment, but Halifax have put a lot of pressure on this line in the opening stages. It's Tonks who's trying to spin around. Ashall waits again. Here it comes. Morel with a kick to that right-hand side, but straight into the hands of Pat Walker. He's done really well here, Patch Walker, to get away from trouble.
He did great. It was a great catch first and foremost, because it was flying, the half volley that he takes it on. If we watch this here, Morel, he had to clean that up, didn't he? And gets 5 metres, 10 metres in the process as well.
Good stuff from Patch Walker. New half-back partnership, wasn't it, at the start of this year, Walker and Brambani, but they've gelled well enough as the year's gone on.
Was that a bit of a throwback to the last game when Hanford was up on his face all the time? I think Yeri's worked that one out.
He ran straight at him then, but Hanford did well. They put him down very well.
My word.
Well, it's behind the 40, but I don't think it's going to trouble the touchline by any distance. It's not. And Halifax can start in a relatively decent position, 10 from the line. There he goes.
Man's just saying, you did it last time, you're going to have to do it all night tonight, brother.
It's going to be a tough night, tough night. Here's Retty. With a bit of a spring in his step. Ashall again. Bringing on Adamson. Crashed into by those 3 Sheffield defenders, but still gets that ball away. That's a terrific offload. And here comes Ashall again. 10 metres advantage. Hanford at dummy half. Morel with a short pass. Invitation to Devolti, but he's tackled well enough. This now is Davis.
Both Adamson and Davis have started really well, haven't they?
5 gone. Here comes Morel with the chip. QLT's underneath this, but it's not going to reach him. I think it's Telepapa, is it, on that far side, who's come down with it. Safely done. And Armstrong will take it on. And Henderson's up there at dummy half quickly. And Telepapa wants another go in the set that he started for his side. Catch underneath a cluster of players, but a knock on from Telepapa. So it will be head and feet at the scrum for Halifax again inside the Sheffield half.
I'll tell you what, this Sheffield team are tough. I don't care what you say, they've made errors in their last couple of sets. They're giving Halifax every advantage. I think he's just claiming a penalty there, but he dropped it cold for me.
One thing about the Halifax team with the ball in hand, their big men are playing the ball very, very quickly, and that's allowing them just to get on the Sheffield team on the back foot a little bit.
Here's Hanforth. Up comes Knowles. Heat-seeking missile of a defender. Doesn't miss his man on that occasion. This is Manning.
Good listening, pal.
Ashall went right, comes left. Morel talks again, and a smash and a grab at the Sheffield defence. Fieldhouse has worked his way through. Well, the Sheffield defence softened up, and Fieldhouse is the man to take the advantage. With 12.5 minutes played, it's Halifax who have the lead.
Well, big man on fatigue, man. Morel's the architect. Fieldhouse left foot, scratching defences. Soschak can't get there. QLT certainly can't stop him. Comes back against the grain. I think it's Batty that he highlights that wasn't there, so let's have a look. Yes, gets through on the inside of Brambani, on the inside of Sostak. It's a great finish, and that's just on the back of weight of possession, weight of energy, weight of everything that Halifax need to do. That's smart play. They were going to crack, and they cracked.
Halifax's leading try scorer, I think, too, isn't he? You know, and he's done very, very well there. I think it was a little bit of an overread from Stozak, facing sideline, and that step couldn't do anything with it.
Look at the angle here from Steve Tyra. He's almost got his back to the sticks. Look at that. Kevin Sinfield does a similar thing, doesn't he? And he's not a bad kicker. Anyway, here comes Tyra with a goose step before he hits it, left-footed, right-footed rather. And, well, you can't argue with the technique when you land the goals, and it's 6-0 for Halifax.
What I really like about what Halifax has done is that they've established their running game. It's been Adamson, and it's been Tonks here, winning the ground, as Dave Woods says, the coach, and it just gives Fieldhouse his running opportunity. Step, scramble, and even Joe Hurst can't get there to stop the play. But it's that establishment of Ben Davis and Heaton and all the people that they've got up front. Ashall just feeding those big blocks. Morel sending the blocks back inside, and they've made very few errors other than the Manning one on play 5 at the big a few minutes ago.
So back in possession and in the lead. Halifax at the moment. Looking a very confident outfit, and well, they might be after that win at the Don Valley a couple of weeks ago.
Play the ball. Go.
As we said, they really had to earn it, and they did. Here's Ashall.
Move.
So
Hold.
Hanforth
Wait.
darts
Go.
in that dummy half position instead. And another good carry by Tonks.
He's on fire, Tonks, isn't he?
I think they were trying to kick out a dummy half there, but it was good work done by Peter Green, who's on from the bench. Halifax have kept it alive. Little see you later with a handoff from Manning. Here's Morel over the top, adventurous stuff. Heaton catches well enough. Retty has to come back on the inside here. What about that for footwork from Retty? Absolutely stood Walker up.
Go. Onside.
5, here comes the 6. Oh, it was read early here by Tolapapa. He was making his run back, but he's in goal. Can he get out? Can he get out?
Smart kick.
Well, he's got the pass.
Oh, brilliant.
Just about kept hold of it, and Armstrong comes running away. What about that for adventure in your own in-goal area?
That's called chance in your arm any day of the week. Brilliant play.
And now 2 tackles gone. They're up to the 40-metre mark. What about
What's
look at
this?
this on Tolapapa?
Yeah,
3-4 around it.
Yeah,
I don't know
Armstrong.
what-
What's he doing?
Oh.
Quick, pick it up.
And as a result of that, instead of drop out underneath the sticks, they cross inside their opponent's half on the 4th tackle where Green is put down.
Well, I'm not being funny, but that could be a great game-breaking play.
It's a while since you were funny, to be fair, wasn't it? Here's Knowles. Good footwork
It's
by
working
him
with
as
you.
well. And he's very nearly got to the 20-metre mark. Yorkshire birthright doesn't help. Here comes the kick towards the in-goal area, which Fieldhouse has done well, and he's done a decent enough job as well. Tackled well enough by Turner.
Well, this is Halifax's first test. They've been turned around on the back of a play where there should have been a 1-in, so it's a mental test as well. Oh, and they give a penalty away. Oh dear.
Ball steer, wasn't it?
Just that brilliance from one end of the field, and then something simple like that on a ball steal absolutely kills you.
There's only one man in, isn't there?
No, there was 2. You had to say there was 2.
Yeah, I think that's the right call there.
Stringer might not have been aware of the other man, hence his complaint to the referee that the penalty went against him. Here's Ben Heaton with a tap.
Important change now, Dave, with Ambler going on for Tonks. Tonks has set the platform for the front rowers the way he carried the ball. These blokes coming off the bench now, they need to carry that on.
Here is young Luke Ambler. As Dave Wood said, just fairly fresh from that interchange bench. Manning. Ashall.
Go.
Here comes the kick from Hanforth. Again, he's found a space. Again, he's found a gap. It's top-class stuff, is it, from Hanforth?
Well, it's clinical from Halifax, you'd have to say. You know, other than the Talapapa play in the in-goal, you'd have to say they're dictating terms here. Sheffield aren't helping themselves with a few spills and a couple of penalties, but Hanford's obviously in the pocket and Morel's in the pocket. They're on their game. They're kicking the ball well. They've had a 40-20 at the right end of the field most of this game. It's for 80 minutes, remember.
And to remind you, to let you know if you missed it earlier, this is a sudden death game. It is essentially a semi-final. I know they have all kind of elimination semi-finals and qualifying semi-finals, but in the old-fashioned sense, this is a semi-final here tonight. Losers go out, winners go through to the grand final. A season lengthened or a season ended. Here's Menziere with a one-handed offload as well, and he's got support here from Turner with a dummy. Just enough done by Fieldhouse, but here in support is Walker. Walker tries to take them on. Well, and he scored it. It wouldn't have been too dissimilar to the try that Sheffield scored in the grand final last year. That got us all so excited. Really racy stuff from the Eagles. And now they have numbers on the right. But Knowles couldn't take a difficult pass. Here comes the advantage play. And they'll take the 0 tackle there.
Well, they had everything available. They had men over. They were just a catchable. They could have kicked it into the corner for a score. What's this? Oh, just died on him, the ball. Big let off. What's this? Great handoff. See you later. Boom.
He's Turner like this over again. He's got QLT on his inside. They wouldn't have caught him, I don't think. Although Reddy was very close, but geez, that could be one that's gone missing.
Well, it's thrilling stuff. It remains 6-0. Good game, isn't it? Good game. And we love these Thursday nights. Here's the kick from Morel. And again, he's put Halifax in good position here.
Shows you the danger of Sheffield, doesn't it? Because Halifax have been pretty near. They'd be 80%, you know, the way he wanted to play, 85%, and then Menzies gives you the big boom and turn us down the sideline. Then Talapapa throws a miracle ball and Armstrong's down the sideline. Dangerous team.
There's another game on tonight, apparently, somewhere. Stick that on record and stay with us, because this is going to be a cracker. An absolute cracker here tonight. 20 minutes played, 6 points the difference. Henderson at dummy half. Two really class teams in this division. They have been doing their stuff all season, as have the likes of Backley and Featherstone and Lee and Whitehaven and Workington and Dewsbury and Doncaster. And now I've started naming them. Somebody's going to write in because we've not mentioned them, but it really has been a quality league this year in terms of entertainment. York and Swinton. That's a good kick. Barrow. So tap restart for Henderson. Here comes Shostak now to try and take it forward. Sheffield in a really good position here. 5 tackles to go. This is Green. Back to Brambani. Spun back to Walker. Walker carries it to the line. Little dummy shown. Oh, the ball's bobbled. Has he got it down? Has he got this down? Well, Ian Smith, it's over to you.
We're checking for grounding and also double movement. So first of all, we'll check for the knock-on, because if he loses it, the double movement then becomes irrelevant. So is he always moving? Or does he promote the ball? Is his ball carrying arm short? So let's check for the knock-on. So, oh God, I think he might lose it. I need a different angle on that, please. I'm not quite sure whether he's actually still got hold of that. Keep going, keep going. Run it forward, please, slowly. We've got a different angle, or is... Yeah, that's... Nice and slow, please. I can't see from that. I can't see if he's got a grip. The other one on the other side, I think it showed that he might have been starting to lose it. Right, let's... Nice and slow. Jog that one back. Jog that one back, please. I'm not convinced he's got this. Not convinced. So, does he start to lose it? Right, go forward with that one, please. Then I need to see it in fast. Because as long as he's always moving, he's allowed to promote the ball. So, keep going, keep going, keep going. His hands down. Oh. You'll have to bear with me here on this one, Dave. It's a real tough one. Yeah, let's run forward. Full speed, please. Full speed. I can't prove. Well, it's no double movement. I can't prove that he's lost that, so I'm going to give a try, Matt. I'm going to give a try on that.
Well, there was a couple of controversial video referee moments when they met a couple of weeks ago. Is that a controversial decision there? They're looking at each other on the gantry.
Well, yeah, I'll stick my neck out first. I thought it was. I don't think you can say that he's got downward pressure on that ball, because his hands to the side of it when he does put it down. But a big thing for me is Patch Walker himself. He doesn't look like he scored that try. If you score a try like that in a final, after you've been under the pump, you're getting up yelling and screaming about it. He didn't really do much about that.
Well, the try's been given, and Rambani with a kick has put it between the uprights, so we're all square again. Whatever the opinions on whether or not it should have been, it is, and it's 6-6.
Well, it's a good break. Give him the credit for the break. He goes on the inside, and that probably looks like he might have lost it there. But hey, semi-final, get on with it. 6-all, good game.
So Halifax forced to restart. Here comes the kick from Tyra. And here comes the return. Mitch Stringer.
Hold, wait. work out that rock. 2, move. Hold.
And looking to struggle their way out from their own half here as quickly as possible. It's Brambani again who's running onto that, scampering onto that. That's 3 tackles gone. Snatched at but kept a hold of. And Halifax working hard in defence here to try and keep Hurst's forward motion to a minimum. But a good set here from Sheffield because they're inside the Halifax half on tackle 5. Right from the kick-off. Brambani's rushed at. They try to close him down. Walker with the ball back on the inside, and here goes Quentin Lolitagagai. Oh, he's absolutely ignored the fullback. Never mind swerved past him or sidestepped him. He simply ignored him to score the try. What a finish that was from Quentin Lolitagagai. As smooth as you like, and in the blink of the eye, Sheffield lead this game.
Well, it's a brilliant finish. And it's Patch Walker again that's instrumental, but it's the kick pressure that Halifax are trying to get on. So they go to the second receiver, which is Walker, and there's no tie-in from the inside Halifax defenders, and that gives QLT a straight run on into the line, and they ain't going to catch him.
Well, it was a great step from him too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But it was interesting there. Some great kick pressure from Ashall, but he was called offside by the referee, Thomason. So that forced Brambani to throw that wide ball. If he stays onside and pushes up, maybe Brambani kicks the ball. So great try though from QLT. Great footwork to get around Fieldhouse.
I don't think on Premier Sport we've seen the best of him this season, have we, QLT? We did last year. We saw a lot of fantastic tries. I can't remember seeing too many of his really flashy scores this year, but there's one of them. Sheffield lead 10-6, and if this goes over, which it does, the lead is now 12-6. How quickly these games can change.
Wow, what a turnaround. 2-minute turnaround. You'd have to say that that's the mark of a champion team. They've hung in there, and there's the shift from Barney to Walker, who outball and then comes inside to QLT, and Dave Woods is quite right. What a good step and finish from QLT.
So Halifax start again. That was without Halifax touching the ball between scores, wasn't it?
Move.
Yeah.
Play the ball. Play it.
Back to back.
Don't dive. 2.
So suddenly, having looked as though they were really striding confidently, the team in blue and white find themselves behind here.
3.
And maybe 1 or 2 questions lingering at the back of their mind.
Go.
Sheffield have taken their chance superbly well. Here's Armstrong on that right-hand side. Davey at dummy half. He's on for Henderson. It's a regular replacement, of course. Hendo will be back in the second half, no doubt. The charge down here. He's given a knock-on, and he's saying there's a first knock-on. And it's Sheffield's head and feet. So they're getting the luck as well here.
Yeah, there's a bit of momentum change here, isn't there? A couple of scores and a result going your way. It'd be interesting to see that one again. So here we go, Brambani. Did it come off his leg?
Stay out.
And Sheffield are not going to complain about this,
1.
because they're in a terrific position again. Armstrong having come across this left-hand side. Here's Menziere, so it's the 2 centres who are having the early dips in this set.
2. Move. Hold. Wait.
Davey,
Adam, work out
a dummy half.
Adam, stay out.
Stringer to Walker. Shostak caught more or less the moment he caught the ball.
3.
Defenders in his face.
Go.
3 tackles gone, 3 to go. Brambani again with a cute little chip over the top. It should be and is dealt with by Ryan Fieldhouse, but Brambani's done well to carry on the chase and puts his man there less than 10 away from his own line.
Well, they haven't had a touch of the ball for a while, have the Halifax, and they probably wouldn't have wanted it here. But this is where they've got to get back in the game, do the tough stuff, and re-establish that kicking game that Hanford and Morell had started with.
Go.
There's Braychek, who's another who's fairly fresh from the bench. He's another who has an influence on a game, doesn't he? Andy Braychek can make quite a difference down the middle.
It's a great carry from Ambler.
Holding on too long.
Penalty.
Last tackle penalty, that killer. I think that That might have been a crowd penalty, that one.
Yeah, because I reckon the crowd thought he got whacked around the melon on the play before. And I think he said he shook his head a little bit here, and I'll give him a penalty. Yeah, there you go, a bit of a head shake. Always gets a penalty.
So Brejček will take it forward. 20 metres away. Oh, he's lost it. He's lost it on the first tackle in that repeat set, if you like. And it is, well, he's furious with himself. You can see that. And it has given Sheffield head and feet here. And a let-off as well. What a let-off.
Back in.
Well, call me old-fashioned, but it's a sin when those big blokes on early carries drop the ball. It just makes the game too hard.
So Sheffield are taking their time here. Just getting a bit of breath back in the lungs, a bit of oxygen back in there as they launch this potential attack. And a Halifax team that's had more than its fair share of defending to do in the last 5 minutes or so. This is Knowles again in that left channel. Picked up and put down. Good defending from Halifax. Muscular stuff. Davey. Menziere. Who's he going to run at? Tries to pick out one of the smallest he can, but it's actually Robinson he ran at. It's not exactly the smallest on the pitch. Davey. Higgins. 4 tackles already gone, but they are inside this Halifax half here. Stringer again still doing some good work, and he thought about the offload, but Ben Heaton did well, hanging on in the tackle, getting all of his arms. So last tackle coming up. Davies the man at dummy half here. 30 metres out. It's going to go to Knowles, who will put that little kick over the top. It drops and it's taken up by Retty. Safe enough from the Halifax winger. Bit of footwork being put on here as well. Tries to get up and get playing the ball as quickly as possible. Heaton, you can hear the Halifax fans getting it's a little bit impatient with the play the balls at times. It's Adamson. Ashall out from dummy half, wants a dip himself. Higgins is there to meet him. So the arm wrestle going on at the moment. Halifax just getting themselves inside the Sheffield half. The kick pings off the head into the arms of Menziere. It's a gift for him. And they might find some space here for Turner, who has to cut back in. Hands off Retty. Brejček just does enough. And Retty's back to make the tackle complete.
We get another lucky break there, Sheffield, don't they?
Oh, Green's given the ball away. And then Brambani wins it back with a one-on-one ball steal.
Yeah.
First knock on.
10 minutes of the half remaining. Here comes Green, takes it in. Green then as a knock-on.
Come on, lads. I can.
So that was the advantage play, essentially, when Brambani pulled off the ball steal.
Out.
Heaton.
One. Move. And out.
9.5 minutes of the half remaining, as tight as it was at the Don Valley, with a couple of extra tries thrown in. Offside penalty, so they want to get on with this quickly. Tapped smartly by Ashall.
Move.
Hanford's there at acting half. To his right is Brejček, who puts the footwork on.
Think. Movement. Nothing.
Ashall. Morel throwing it back into the hands of Fieldhouse, who tries to get out to that left-hand side. Sheffield's defenders scampering across there. Armstrong and Tolapapa between them doing the job. And again, it's a little slow, and the Halifax fans said, come on. Adamson laying it off. Brejček again. 4 gone, 2 to go.
Wait.
Sheffield's defence looking resolute at the moment. But here's Morel with a short pass. Oh, that's been lost. And it will be Sheffield who get the ball back, all things being equal. Defaulty, the man who knocked on.
They're renowned for their scramble, for their desire, for their effort in defence, aren't they? And here's another example of it. Brambani gets on top of, I think it's Devote, isn't it, that's the ball carrier. And just loses it cold.
Food for thought for Carl Harrison.
Can it be stopped?
talk about the physicality at the moment. You know, I mean, what is the comparison in the physicality, the fatigue with these two teams? Again, going back to the fact that Halifax have had a fortnight off from games, and Sheffield played 4 days ago.
Well, I agree with Coach Woods a little bit. Games like this, it tends not to make a difference unless it's really close and the stress comes into it, and your energy out of your legs goes in relation to it. Sheffield have made more errors than Halifax, you would say, at the first 25 minutes, and they come up with a couple of unbelievable plays to get themselves in front, so that recharges the batteries all the time.
Well, they've got 6 tackles here, make that 5 to get downfield as far as they possibly can. And here's Higgins putting on the physicality, trying to drag himself through those defenders. Davey. Knowles. Here's another who could easily have been a Championship Player of the Year, given the effort he puts in, week out. Stringer, who is on that short list, putting the pass on for Higgins. Davey. Brambani, now he's behind the 40 when he lets that fly, and it'll skid out beyond the 20. So a 40-20 kick puts Sheffield in superb attacking position here, just about 15 metres away from that Halifax line.
Well, I just think if the winger's not going to go back there on a pendulum, Fieldhouse needs to be a lot wider than that on the 40-20.
Yeah, certainly.
The winger has to stay near keeping contact of the shift players on, so you've got to give him the middle, otherwise you concede the 40-20.
Yeah, exactly. You know, Brambani's a very smart kicker of the football. They've tried this side a couple of times. Reddy has done very well. He's been back in position well. He's brought the ball back well. I just think that side, it was a great kick from Brambani for the 40-20.
Well, here we go. Quentin Lolatagagai's off again, and he very nearly rolls over the line. Just held up short. Mensa Yere will have a go. Less subtle, and not quite as effective either, because he stopped and pushed back a yard or two. So here comes QLT in the role of dummy half. Walker, here's Knowles. Just a wall of defenders coming his way, so he'll have to take the tackle.
Wait, go.
Davey. Real test here is Green. We'll fire it forward. Davey once more. This is Walker. Walker with a kick to the in-goal area, and just chested away by Ryan Fieldhouse. He might have let that go, but he wouldn't have known what was behind him, would he?
I think he tried to let it go, and did it kick back and hit him in the chest?
Yeah, it hit him in the chest. I think it was a very good call from Matt Thomas on there. So I think he was trying to just let that run over, and it would have done, I think. Very good call from the referee.
So the dropout gives Sheffield possession again here. Here's Mitch Stringer. Carrying it back with real purpose. Sets them up here. 1 gone, 5 to go. Sheffield 30 away. Davey to his right and Green. And Green almost squeezing away through. But Davey will move up to dummy half again here. Walker is the man he'll pass to. Back it goes to Quentin Lolatagagai. Mensa Yere trying to spin away, but Heaton's done a job again here. He'll have nightmares about Mensa Yere at the end of these playoffs. Had to face him twice. This now is Higgins. Again they're hanging on. Real test on the line for the home side. Davey spinning it to Walker. Across to Brambani. Trying to create the numbers here. Kick this time. Armstrong's chasing it. Will be covered. Will be covered. Is it Sharif underneath that? It is. And it's another dropout.
Turning the heat up out of the Sheffield. Smart play, clever play, patient play. Will be easy to chance your arm here, but no, we'll get the ball back again. Good pressure.
And this is one of the things that, you know, that 4 days rest won't be worrying them, because they've got all the ball, they've got the momentum at the moment. It's when they're under pressure, like Brian said earlier, that's when the fatigue would step in.
Here's Stringer.
Go.
Now Higgins.
This is their third set on the bounce, so this is a tough ask for Halifax. Third defensive set on the bounce.
Brambani to Quentin Lolatagagai to Armstrong, who straightens things up here. Gathering defenders as he does so. 5 away. Tackles in the bag, loads of them. So Green with a step off the left foot and arcing back. Back to Brambani again. This time the kick is a little higher, and it's going to be caught. No, it's not. Well, the referee will have a look at this. It might be about the challenge in mid-air, I think.
Yeah.
So let's hear from Ian Smith, the video ref.
We're just checking the restart. Just jog it back. Right. Come on, run it forward, please. Where's he jumped from? So he jumps. So he jumps from the in goal, so he's got to take possession of this. He never takes possession. So that's a goal line dropout, Matt. Never takes possession. Doesn't defuse the bomb.
And he had his feet on the ground again, didn't he, when the challenge came in? So there was no question of it being a mid-air collision.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, is there a case for, and it's only a question, that he's tackled him before he's had a chance to get the ball. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
probably not.
Oh, there's a restart. It's taken. Had a look around there.
4 sets. This would be one huge effort from Halifax.
At the end of this, Halifax would have made 24 consecutive tackles if they get to the end of this set without Sheffield finding their way to the try line. Yere. Halifax man down, doesn't look too good at the moment. Stringer to Walker, Walker to Brambani. They're coming on in numbers again. QLT in the line. Armstrong now, out it goes, and sliding in on that right-hand side is Missy Tolapapa. A really excellent team try. Halifax stretch. They had a man down in back play as well. Added to the fact that the physicality they've gone through before that moment, and finally things snapped, and Missy Tolapapa is in, and Sheffield lead here 16 points to 6.
Well, the dam broke, didn't it? On the back of the weight of possession, they go for the shift play. Walker to Brambani, QLT chipping in the line. Great hands from Armstrong, who tracks the winger. And Tolapapa has the easy job, if there is such a thing, to put the ball down in the corner. Armstrong's the money ball here. Attracts the winger on the run and releases it, gets his hands free to give Missy Tolapapa an easy running as such. Good hands, walking good hands. Here's QLT, and that Sharif attracted to the attentions of Armstrong, which gives Tolapapa the running.
I think the problem out wide there defensively, they were backpedaling, weren't they, rather than pushing up. They were going backwards, and some very good hands to get that ball wide.
Well, what an end to the half. 6-0 down with just under 20 minutes played. And you had to say at that stage, Halifax looked the better team. But that try, the controversial try for Pat Walker, Brambani's missed this, has he? Yes, he has. And then the QLT follow-up try. And then Missy Tolapapa, so 3 scores. And suddenly, Sheffield lead here by 16 points to 6.
Well, it's crisp hands, isn't it? Ball's out in front. QLT has a running play to Armstrong, and who can track the winger and fix the centre. And it's a good finish on the back of a weight of possession. Was it 24, 25 players?
It was the 4th set, wasn't it? There you see, 1 minute and 53 seconds left to play. The big clock counting down right in front of Carl Harrison. And Sheffield quite happy to have the ball in their hands again here, consolidate, get downfield, eat up some time at the end of this opening half. Stringer spinning around, just threatening, suggesting he might let that ball release, but keeps a hold of it. Here comes Higgins. A good solid drive by him. So that's 3 gone. Davey claims for a penalty for not square. Referee says play on. Then it comes to Brambani, who sees a bit of a hole there for a moment. But it closes up soon enough, and Davey kicks out from dummy half. Good kick into that, or towards that in-goal area. How good's the chase here? Can Halifax get it downfield with any kind of interest? Retty, though, wrapped up by those advancing defenders. Just what Sheffield ordered, that, wasn't it, from that set?
Well, it was, and they'd done a great job themselves, Halifax. Just remember, this is a short field, so they'd restricted their territory a little bit. Got a bit of kick pressure on Brambani, who came back on the inside, and then forced David to kick out of dummy half and kick into the middle spaces.
So that was 5 consecutive sets as well, wasn't it? The 4 sets before the try, and then the 5th from the kickoff. So Halifax very pleased to have possession back again here. Braychek into the final 20-odd seconds of this first half. Halifax would love something from here, but it's against the odds. Here's a 6 tattle. Morrell spins it back on the inside. Adamson was chasing it, but it's not the lucky bounce they were looking for. It is Sheffield who come up with possession, and maybe a chance to really punish them as well. Here's Yere with a little chip, because he knows the hooter's about to sound, so he might as well take the risk. And Retty just collects it safely enough. And it is Sheffield who are very much on top in this sudden death game. 40 minutes left to play. Halifax need a big response in that second half. They led 6-0, the home team, but 3 consecutive tries have put Sheffield in the box seat. The meeting on the field will be all positive. We'll be looking back at it all in just a few moments' time.
Kingston Press Cider, official partner of the England Rugby League team. For real cider lovers.